Yo, come check out the view. Come on down. So you know where we're at right now. We are in Tagaytay, folks. That is the Taal volcano. So we're just chilling, enjoying some fresh air. We've been locked down since March. We haven't been out. So my wife and I decided to rent out this cabin here in Tagaytay. And so I want to show you the main part of this place, which is, boom, the living room with the mats. That's how we do it. So why not enjoy our stay with some jujitsu? I'm going to be answering some questions off of Instagram, which is at BJJ Simplified, and let's get down to it. This one is coming from Aldo from Motion Jiu-Jitsu over in BGC. Go check out their gym. Good people over there. And he's asking how I usually teach beginners to have more dexterity with their legs, to use them more like arms. Okay, so let's try to tackle that real quick, all right? So that's a really good question because one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to beginners trying to learn jiu-jitsu is trying to utilize their legs like arms, okay? We're used to doing everything with our arms, but with our legs, especially if we're not really into sports a lot, we usually use them to walk, run, squat, stuff like that, but not really something as technical as jiu-jitsu. So you have to explain, first of all, what you can do with your legs and how you can drive power and how to angle yourself by using the mat and using your partner. So those two different things. So what do I mean by using the mat? Is, for example, I have my partner here, Chrissy. She's on top of me. Like, let's just say from like a side mount position, I need to understand that I can utilize my legs to drive power from the mat with my legs, transferring it to my hips to create some sort of bridge, right? To create space so that I can get to guard, right? So you need to understand or explain to them how they can use the mat in their favor so that they can create space, or how they can align with their partner. Talking about alignment, so if my partner is standing, okay, so even a good one for beginners is not necessarily making contact just yet. Just making contact with the mat is pretty good, okay? So she's just gonna like walk around me, and my goal is just to learn proper alignment, okay? So aligning with my partner and keeping myself in alignment as well, okay? So as she moves, I'm just using my foot on the mat, and I'm using this foot just to make sure that if she puts her weight down on me, I can use that to kind of push off of her hip, okay? So she moves the other way, I drop that same foot, and I'm just, playing this drill, okay? And she's not really trying to engage. Always remember that just because we're learning how to, to train and to fight and stuff like that, it doesn't mean that right away we want to make them feel that, okay? So we want to scale it up bit by bit. So in the beginning, it's just that easy. It's like, okay, I understand I have to stay aligned, okay? Next thing is, now I make contact with my partner. So in the beginning, it was just me kind of like using the mat. Now it's, if she does, let's say I go here and she pushes my leg away, it's understanding that my hips have to face my partner so that I can use this to hip switch and come back to alignment. So this is I think this is one of the easiest drills, but one of the most important drills that you can do. So all you're gonna do is push this leg to the outside. My hips are facing away from my partner, so kind of like emphasizing that if my hips are facing away, I can't use my legs as effectively. So as she does that, I have to switch my hip and come around. And in the beginning, you can even allow them to put the foot on the mat. So as they push, you put the foot on the mat to allow your hips to swivel, and you go here. So now they're just utilizing their legs, right? And after a while, they'll get a better feel. So as they push this leg, go ahead, they're already switching their hip without even putting that foot on the mat, and then they come to here, okay? Next thing, since now, in the beginning, we were just using the mat. We had the compass drill, we had the bridge. Now let's use our hooks and how we can create frames and push our partner away so that they have a better understanding of distance and anchoring themselves to their partner. So for example, Chrissy's moving to her right, I hook here, and I just make her move and allow me to follow, okay? So as she moves, keep going this way, okay? So now I understand what this hook can do, okay? Now I go to the other side, I get this hook, okay? And I get the feel of what this hook is like. Now, after a while, now I know that I can anchor myself. I can also use it to pull myself towards her. So I use the same hook, stay strong there. I use that same hook to pull myself closer, okay? Now I just practice this, okay? So using my hook, okay? Now after a while, I can use that to pull myself in, okay? And I use it to anchor myself. Now I can also use my feet to push. So all we're doing here is we have to let them understand like what my feet can do before we start mixing them all together, okay? So now, as she puts pressure on me, I use my feet, okay? I use it as kind of like as a frame, as opposed to her hip, to manage that distance. And I explain to them that if they get close and my knees start going to my chest, okay, that means now they can start touching my head. So try to touch my head, like lean, like you want to touch my head. So that's bad, right? For self-defense, we want to manage that distance. And so they have an idea now of how far they need to be able to create that space so that they can't touch my head, okay? So after a while, they're understanding this. Let's say your shoulders go down, like you're bent over a little bit more, like you're trying to get close. Now I can also push by the shoulders, right? I can use that to frame off of her. I can use it if she's punching off of here. And so now they're understanding more of a pushing motion and keeping their distance, right? Now, once they understand that, you're like, okay, in jiu-jitsu, it's a mixture of all of that. Why don't we do a pull and a push at the same time? So all we're gonna do here is, so we're here, maybe, let's come a little bit closer. I put here, okay? Now this time, I'm gonna pull myself to one side, okay? Now let's get this foot a little bit closer, okay? Now I can push, and then I can pull, and then you have your tripod sweep. So I'll go slow, you can sit, okay? Boom, okay? And understanding that, okay? Then after a while of understanding the combination of push and pull, you can also use your legs to try to get up, right? So like for example, I'm here. If things go wrong and I don't use my legs properly and they're about to pass, teaching them how to get up on their knees, so my feet going here, like understanding how to utilize their legs that way, right? And then the more advanced they go, now you can start doing inversions, right? They start going to the side. So let's stand up here real quick. Let's say they went around me, they pushed my legs, okay? They're going around me and I'm too late. Now push off of the mat, okay? Where I can get my hip up as she's going around trying to get close. Now I can start aligning myself with her, right? So this is just kind of like a brief answer to the question. The whole idea is how do you scale it up, okay? You can't give them too many things to think about in one go because then they'll be confused, right? So you understand the push, understand the pull, understand proper alignment, and then after a while, one of the best drills you can do is trying to isolate just the legs in your drills, okay? This is the last part for this question, which is how do I play guard without using my arms, okay? So we do this drill a lot where, for example, Chrissy's on the ground, okay? What I'll tell her to do is, okay, you can't use your hands. You can put your hands by your belly, okay? So you're here. All she has to do is stay aligned with me so she can do the compass drill. She can do the hip switch, all of that stuff without using her arms, okay? So what that'll force her to do is to not think about her arms to kind of like make up for the lack of movement, okay? So for example, I go here. She's going to put her foot down, boom, and she's going to align herself with me. Yup, she's like this. I push that, okay? She starts hip switching, yeah, okay? And I start moving around and she can't use her arms. So let's say, for example, she's late like this. She's gonna have to shrimp without her arms. So go ahead, yeah. Feet on the ground. And then from there, align a little bit and then get this leg, yeah. And just kind of play around. And then once you have two beginners doing that, you can also have the top guy trying to pass without using their hands too. So a big part of using your legs is also top position. So another thing that they do, oh actually you'll be on top, I'll do with my students is I'll let them play top position, but their arms are out like this. They can't grab onto me, and that'll give them an idea of base and how to utilize their legs as well while staying on top. Okay, so let's go over here real quick. So for example, she's just here, side mount, legs out, okay, toes on the mat, active toes, okay, and so don't hug, okay, keep your arms like just like this, okay, keep them up. So I'll just move around so she has to follow and keep her base. I push her a little bit so she has an idea where to put her legs so that she doesn't stay narrow, okay. So the more that you isolate just the legs and play around with different drills there, the more they get used to just using their legs, and then eventually through all these different drills they'll get used to it, and before you know it, they're gonna get better at, with their dexterity with their legs. Okay, hope that answers your question. Thank you.